Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thank you for tuning in and watching this video. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just want to talk about a topic that I definitely feel that can help a lot of individuals that's looking to purchase a home, whether you're looking to purchase a home within the next 1 to 3 months, or whether you're not ready until maybe a year, 2 years from now. A question that I get a lot is exactly how much mortgage can you afford? So now, before we go into this video, I just want to make a disclaimer. I am not a licensed financial planner, so please do not take this information as the end-all, be-all law for when it comes to finance. You still want to make sure you speak with a financial planner. However, this is just general numbers that you can play with yourself, so that when you do get ready to buy that home, you can still consult with the financial planner to see if this is around what you can afford. But this is at least just to get you started. If you're not sure that you want to take the next step right now to even talk with a financial planner or even do some research on yourself to see how much home you can afford, because there are different websites you can plug in your income and they can let you know how much home you can afford. But if you just want to be able to do it real quick off the top of your head, I just want to give you an introduction pretty much on how you can be able to do that without even looking up any of that information. So first thing you want to do is make sure you know, obviously looking at your most recent two pay stubs at work, and you want to see what is your monthly gross income. Now again, that's going to be the monthly gross income that you made from your company, or that'll be just two paychecks if you're getting paid every 2 weeks, the two checks for the month. Or if you're getting paid weekly, the four checks for the week, or if you're getting paid every month, obviously that one check for that month. But you want to see what your gross income is, and when I say gross, that means before taxes. So before Uncle Sam comes in, takes out the money that you owe for taxes. That's what the gross income is. So again, this is just as a rough example. Some may be a little bit higher than this in income. Some may be a little bit lower. So this is just as an example, so you can plug in your own numbers and do the make sure you do the due diligence yourself as well. Just so again, you just want to make sure that you're in a you're not putting yourself in a situation where you move into a house and then 1 to 2 months later you realize that this mortgage is really busting your budget. And last thing that you want to do is be in a situation where a year down the line after you bought the home, now you're in a stage of pre-foreclosure because that home is really a lot more than you thought that it was going to be in your monthly budget. So just as a rough example, let's say your gross monthly income is $3,000. So the very first thing you're going to want to do, first step you're going to want to do is you want to multiply your monthly gross income by 30%. Now, the reason why I say 30% is because generally on W-2 pay stubs, if you do not have any children, generally the government is going to take out roughly about 30%, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But I'm using 30% again just as a general number so that you can know exactly what to go off of. Now, obviously, if you have kids, then it's going to be a little bit less Uncle Sam is going to take out. But even if it is a little bit less, you would rather have more money that you already have assumed taken out for taxes than less. So again, let's say the gross monthly income before Uncle Sam gets his taxes is $3,000. So you just want to multiply that by 30%. And I got me a handy dandy calculator here also, just to make sure that I'm not screwing up my numbers as well. All right, so after Uncle Sam gets his cut, you got $2,100, right, left over. So now $2,100. You generally don't want to be more than 25 to 30% of your net income from your mortgage. Again, this is where you're going to want to make sure you speak with a licensed financial planner or advisor, because they might have a more accurate general rule of thumb. They might say 27.5%. Some might say 28. But again, just assuming the worst come to worst, we're going to assume that you don't want to be nowhere near over 20, let's just say 25% of your income. So at 2,100, 25% of the income, that will put you at $1,575. So now this is the number that you know you're working with, and again, this is a range. So once you speak with your financial planner or advisor, it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less home that you can afford. But now you at least have a general idea of, okay, $1,575. I should not go any higher than that in the mortgage. So now I know you're probably thinking, okay, Jameer, I got this number. What do I do next with that number? Well, now this is where you want to make sure that you have your own mortgage calculator. You can download a few of them for free on your phone, whether it's an Android or iPhone. One that I use is Quicken Loans Calculator. But you also now want to start looking at the different homes in the areas that you say that you're interested in. Whether, depending on where you desire to live at, just start doing a little bit of your research to look on Redfin, look on Trulia, and just really see how much these homes are going for, how much they're selling for in this area. Also, if you're working with myself as your licensed real estate agent in Illinois, then I can also get you this information if you just let me know the areas that you're looking for, and I can tell you what the average home sales price is currently going for in that area. But now what you can do is once you get a mortgage calculator, you can see, okay, this zip code that I'm interested in, all the homes are selling for, let's say, $175,000. Well, now you can put in $175,000 in your mortgage calculator. You can put 5% as a general rule of your interest rate. And again, it could be lower or higher depending on your pre-approval amount. But you can put 5% in just as a general interest rate, just so you can have an idea what you're working with. And now the next thing you want to do is, as you're looking at these different homes in that area you're looking for, check out what the property taxes are in that area, because now the property taxes can easily be a difference between an extra $200 to $400 a month in your monthly mortgage. Depending on where you're trying to move to, if you're in the Illinois market trying to move somewhere like the Tinley Park area or Orland, property taxes out there can be sometimes almost $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. That can be almost an extra $500 to your monthly mortgage. So again, like I said, a quick, easy app that you can download is Quicken Loans Mortgage Calculator. It's free, and by being able to plug those numbers in, you now get a good idea of what you're working with, because you don't want to get caught off guard. So now what you want to do is, once you're putting these numbers in a mortgage calculator, now you just want to be able to see, okay, if I plug this number into my current monthly budget right now, is this going to break my budget? Is this going to be good for my budget? But now you know what you're working with. So before you start the process of getting a pre-approval, or even after you start the process of getting a pre-approval, or before you really start going out to looking at homes, start scheduling showings, you really need to be able to take a look at your numbers here, because at the end of the day, yes, the agent is still going to give you an estimated monthly mortgage, but you as a homeowner need to make sure that that's not affecting your monthly budget. As a real estate agent, it's not my job to make sure that the monthly budget that you, your monthly amount for your budget works for your budget or not. I can still recommend to make sure that you check that, but you still need to make sure you do the research to make sure that this is not going to really hurt your budget. Because if it is going to hurt your budget, now you can know, okay, how much is this hurting my budget? Is it hurting my budget by $200, by $300? But now you know what you need to work with. So even if you decide to work with my lender, Corey Singleton at Loan Depot, he might give you a pre-approval that says you're pre-approved for $200,000. But just because you're pre-approved for $200,000, that doesn't mean you can afford the monthly mortgage of $200,000. Maybe you can only afford the mortgage of $140,000, $150,000 home. But again, it's not about trying to get the biggest home on the block and making sure that all of your friends and family members see that you got the nicest house and the biggest house there is. It's about getting you into a home that you own, that you can maintain and continue to pay every single month. After 20 years, after 30 years, once you got this home paid off, now you can pass that down to your kids, your grandkids. Now you can pass down some generational wealth to your family. And it's not about just making sure you got the biggest and nicest house, but also the most important part is making sure you can afford this. So again, I didn't want to take up too much of you guys' time. I really appreciate you checking out this video. Again, just make sure you plug these numbers in, and you really want to make sure you're watching the areas that you're trying to say that you want to buy a home at, because those property taxes can be a difference of extra $200 on your mortgage or extra $500, $600 on your mortgage. If you got any other questions or concerns, definitely feel free to reach out to me on my website. You should see the link to this website at the bottom of this video. And again, just please make sure you're just doing your due diligence to make sure you can afford the home, because it looks nice and everybody gets excited about buying a home, but you really need to make sure you're doing the hard work, which is plugging those numbers in and make sure you can afford that home every month. So until next time, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.